And we're doing something very different, right? Where us, and I think a lot of you watching this, if you're using Grace Cart, you're in the traditional e-commerce business, right? But you're selling perishable foods online. So very much following what Amazon has done, that traditional e-commerce experience. Now we're trying to layer subscription on top of that, right?
Yep.
So we need that customer experience to be very intuitive, very user-friendly, and very much what our existing customers are used to. Because again, the goal here is to try to retain as many of those existing customers.
Not create a new path for them or something new to figure out, right?
Correct.
Welcome to GraceCast, a show where the top tactics for selling direct to consumer are expanded to get results for perishable food suppliers. If you're in the fresh and frozen categories and you're looking for the latest insights on e-commerce, marketing, and business, subscribe and stay tuned.
Hey everybody, it's Brooks and Blaine with Grace Cart, and we decided to turn on the cameras today to make an announcement about the future of the platform that I think both of us have been wanting to make for quite some time now.
Yes.
And I think there's been a few rumors floating out there, so here we are today to confirm. Blaine, you want to make the announcement? I
Yes.
give you the honors, man.
Thank you. We are finally, after 6 years building Grace Cart, we're adding a subscription module, or it's almost like another product that'll be offered with Grace Cart, correct?
Yes, we are getting into the subscription business.
Yes.
So this is something we've hesitated doing for a while, mainly just because it's, it really is, like you mentioned, an entire new product, new business model.
We've looked at it many of times and have run into so many complexities, right? But
Correct.
We're taking it on now. We've been in development for how long?
Yeah, oh boy, it's been, the full year here, this has been in the works. So,
Yes.
And it's been number one focus. But
Why now, though? Okay, so after all these years, why now?
well, I think the biggest thing is that one of the questions that's been on all of our minds since March of last year has been, well, COVID hit, we've had this huge e-commerce surge and boom. But then, of course, just like the curve of the COVID cases, we all saw the curve of the sales. And now we're all asking, okay, what can we do to flatten that curve, as much as possible? And this strategy fell straight into that. Obviously, subscriptions has been a strategy that many different industries and businesses have used to inspire retention and loyalty and predictability into their business. So I think the writing's just on the wall. Now's the time to, make our best effort at pursuing this. And, we've always avoided it in the past, not just because of the technology, workload or the project that was to take on, but even for the business model, it adds a lot of complexity to your business model. If you're selling, perishable food online, just standard e-commerce, to start throwing subscriptions on the back of that when it comes to, inventory planning and forecasting gets very complicated. Even your pricing strategy as far as, building that into the entire model. But now, with this surge that we've all seen, I just think that the ROI potential is too great to not give this our very, very best effort.
Right. Now, I think it's important that maybe we go over what are we doing different? Because there's a lot of subscription platforms out there.
Yep.
Matter of fact, Seven Sons has looked at them over and over, but our drawback was what you mentioned earlier. We want a seamless customer experience, whether it's someone coming to Seven Sons to buy just on demand when they want, or if they want to opt into a subscription, we want that to be seamless. We've looked at all the integrations. Yeah. Everything's clunky. It's not seamless, and it fragments the customer experience, and that's not what we want. So I think that's one of the biggest innovations, Brooks, about how we're building subscriptions, is that it's a dual model or dual channel. You can easily go from just an e-commerce business that's been on demand and add a subscription option. Literally, the goal is one click for a customer and they're a subscriber.
Yeah, that's the thing is, when we were researching this, of course, we're looking at all the technology that was out there saying, hey, can we just make a quick integration with someone to solve the problems we're trying to solve? And, the subscription box industry has been a trend that's, kind of really infected every industry where we've seen this has become very popular. So there's a lot of technology out there. Yeah. And we weren't impressed with anything that we found as far as what we needed it to do.
Maybe if you were starting just a solely subscription business from scratch, some of those platforms could work. Now, there's the other nuances of selling proteins and the regional delivery.
And there's a lot of different models to go about this, right? There's the subscription box. Of course, there's the traditional CSA, which, a lot of farmers are familiar with. And we're doing something very different, right? Where us, and I think a lot of you watching this, if you're using Gracecart, you're in the traditional e-commerce business, right? But you're selling perishable foods online. So very much following what Amazon has done, that traditional e-commerce experience. Now we're trying to layer subscription on top of that, right?
Yep.
So we need that customer experience to be very intuitive, very user-friendly, and very much what our existing customers are used to. Because again, the goal here is to try to retain as many of those existing customers.
Not create a new path for them or something new to figure out, right?
Correct, and add confusion to the mix. And
Yes.
that's what we found with all these other tools is, yeah, you can plug in and integrate something else to try to run alongside your e-commerce platform. But it's just, it's not very integrated. Sometimes there's separate logins, separate checkout paths. You have to buy separate items or, again, subscription boxes. And that just added too much decision-making to the process and too much confusion. So that's why we decided to bite the bullet and take on the project head on and build something into the platform that can be completely seamless for the customer, and then save us a lot of time on the back end side, because that's another component to all of this when it comes to inventory management, inventory forecasting, all those other things on the back end that makes life easier for us that we found would have been a challenge with trying to plug in some other solution.
Just think about inventory tracking alone on 2 different platforms. Now, if you're smaller, you can make that work at scale. And where Seven Sons is at, we had to find a seamless, not only for the customer experience, but something seamless for our business, the back end of it. So that actually brings an interesting question, Brooks. So what about folks that have already maybe integrated Gracecart with Sublease and other solutions like that? Are the subscription build out, which is becoming much bigger than we anticipated at first. Is this going to be for every Gracecart client? Is there, what's it a good fit for?
So it's certainly going to be available to everyone, but it's not going to be something that everyone will tap into. I mean, this might not even be a model that everyone needs to tap into.
Sure.
But yeah, so there's, this is going to be something where if you have that need to, you're doing traditional e-commerce, you really, really want that need to have something seamlessly integrated, then I think this is going to be the best solution out there. It's not going to be the only one. Of course, we have, training videos on implementing plug-in tools like Sublease, a subscription management platform where you can integrate subscription products into your, like a Gracecart page or something like that. And those tools will still be great for managing like a subscription box type program. So I think we'll still always have clients who use those, and we will continue to recommend that for certain clients as well. It just really depends on your need, on your budget availability, and those types of factors to decide which route that you want to go.
Because this is not just an added feature to Gracecart. This is literally an added product to Gracecart. So, so it makes sense. It will make a lot of sense for clients at scale that need that seamless business and customer experience. But what you're saying is Sublease will, and other integrations will still be an option, especially if you're smaller and
yeah. Well, what Sublease has done is they've really targeted the small subscription box company, right? So when we were researching all these options that are out there, we realized that there's a significant cost to integrating good subscription solutions out there, and Sublease done a great job to where they have a model to where yes, they cover their costs and it scales with you. I think they charge a percentage of sales, but the entry price to get started is pretty low. So pretty much anyone can get started. They keep things pretty simple and focused, so it's easy
quick
to adopt and implement quickly. So I think for people who are in that phase, it's just going to make sense to get started with something like that. Then maybe once you pick up some steam, right, you got you got the ball rolling, maybe then that's a time where you transition to something that's either more seamless.
It is more of an enterprise feature or component to Gracecart at this point.
Correct. And we're building it for people who want to be able to really grow with subscriptions and manage subscriptions at scale. So there's just certain needs there that you don't have when you're starting out from scratch.
Right. So got to ask a question. When is it coming? Like, when can we anticipate being able to tap in?
Yeah, so I ask the developers this question often.
Every week.
So here I am. We don't have a set date. It just doesn't work that way. But our goal, we'd be very disappointed if we don't have something available here yet this year. So our goal is to get something out and available to where folks can tap into yet this year.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, this is exciting, and I know the team here at Seven Sons is looking forward to giving this a test run.
Yep. If you're watching this video, you're not on our newsletter, I'd encourage you to sign up, because we'll continue to release updates and announcements as we get closer to going live. So.